Ash United TV, joined by manager Steve Cunningham after defeat at Macclesfield. Steve, difficult conditions on a difficult playing surface, but definitely a day to forget, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same for both sides, and fair play to both teams, because that's the hottest. I mean, you saw me on the sides. I had to take my boots off. It was burning through my feet. So them on the pitch, but there's no excuse in terms of the performance. For some reason, when we get beat heavily, and it's basically just a lack of leaders, desire. I've got so many other words I want to use, but I can't. They've been told in there, I certainly won't accept that. The club shouldn't accept that. The supporters shouldn't accept that. So the conditions aside, we've been beat 5-0 for a second time this season, and that just simply isn't good enough. And yet we were second in the league at 3 o'clock today. So I've made a mistake today. It weren't putting Marcus Cassani at left back. We had to make a change that I felt would work, and it did. In the main, he looked after Kenji on the far side really well. But when you give a goals away that we've given them today, apart from the last one where the lads are shot and they've worked it really well for the last goal, the other goals are just embarrassing that we've given away. We've given a cheap one when people watch it back. We've passed it, stopped it on the 18-yard, and it's a free shot. We didn't think it was a penalty. I'd have to look back at that, but I think the referee was very quick to give it. The liner on our side said it wasn't a penalty, so at least he's seen it for a change. But 2-0 down after, was it 15 minutes? In this sort of heat as well, you're just making it really easy for him. And then I felt like we was in the game. We had a lot of the ball, but like I said to you, I'll go back to the very beginning. It's simply not good enough. And those players have been told to look at themselves in the mirror when they leave here, because we won't be accepting that anymore. And that one hurts a bit more than the others, because I certainly don't think it was a 5-0 game, which probably sounds a bit disrespectful to Macclesfield, but that's how I saw it. We had a lot of the ball, but we were wasteful. We never hurt them. I don't think we've had a shot in anger. So maybe I am doing them a bit of disjustice, and I don't mean it in that way, but the goals that we've given away are just horrific. And I've put a team there together today that's played in front of crowds at York City, South Shields, Southport, FC United, Salford City, Mansfield, Port Vale, Kidderminster Harriers, and then there was 2 players who've played probably in the biggest crowd has been the Flat Cap Derby with Allerton Collieries and LR, and then Potts, who was at Wivenshaw, where it's a derby locally. The rest of them have all played in this arena before, with that kind of crowd, the expectation that's upon them, and they've let themselves down. They haven't let me down, or the club. They've let themselves down, and I hope that hurts them after they walk away from the ground today.
One positive to bring from that, you mentioned the number of fans, just short of 100 Robins fans in the ground today. Obviously enough's been made of pricing and everything like that, but it's a really good effort from the Robins fans.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit deflated because we've been beat 5-0, and the crowd at the end, the way they were singing and clapped us off, it's fantastic, and that means that's a positive for me, because I think we've changed the perception of what the team is, and win, lose or draw, we'll always go over to the fans. The fans know we're better than that. I know we're better than that. That's why I wasn't ranting and raving on the sideline. At 3-4-0 down, the game's done. So I'll chalk it off, and we've got a massive game next week. But to the fans, I thought they were outstanding. They've shown where we're going as a football club. We're growing. We're still in its infancy at the minute. We're better than that. I know we are. We've seen it this season. That's why we've lost heavily 5-0 and then went and won 5 in 6 games. We'll bounce back again today. I've no doubt about that. But that one does hurt, and I want the players to know that's the first time I've wanted to hit one of them severely, because the fans didn't deserve that. The way they lay down. That's the bit. They're very coward-like. So the fans were a massive plus. The way that they supported us all the way through it. There was not one negative comment. And yeah, to see 100 people come when the price of a ticket is 17 quid, which for non-league football is atrocious. But I understand when you look at the stadium, you know, what a fantastic arena, and what they've done here at the football club is fantastic. But it's non-league football, and the fact they only give us that little corner area, which I don't think we needed much more anyway. Massive thank you to the fans. I think they deserve a massive pat on the back for the support, the commitment today. We've not let them down in terms of the effort, because the lads, it was tough out there, but we've let them down with that performance, and we'll repay them. And the only way that we can repay them, mate, is a performance next week in the FA Cup, where I believe it's a game that on paper we're a strong team. We can certainly win that game. No disrespect to Everton Collieries, and none intended, because David Chadwick's one of my best mates. He's the manager. But if ever we needed a rocket up our backside and repay the fans, it's a performance next week, and there's no bigger game than that next week.